Okay, Ed, you heard me recite basically what's been occurring overnight in the markets. Tokyo up, everything else in Asia down. Russia up, everything else in Europe down. And our S&P futures up an incredible 21 a few minutes ago, which indicates the market will open way up. I smell intervention all over the place here.
Well, here's the idiot lesson that I use for myself to explain what's going to happen in the long term here, in the next several months. What's going to begin to happen? It
kind of winds into the question that we left at the bottom of the hour. Yeah. Okay.
Okay. So here's the idiot lesson.
Sure.
It's the one I use for me. We're going to have a lot of layoffs soon because the Asians are desperate. The Asian market is not there. We're not going to be able to sell airplanes and cars to Asia anymore right now for a long time because there's no money for them to buy. In fact, they're desperately trying to sell everything they can make to us to make money. There's going to be a lot of layoffs. U.S. jobs are going to evaporate very quickly beginning now.
In other words, imports are going to go through the roof.
That's right, and there's a lot of layoffs. So let's use you as an example. Let's say that Chancellor Broadcasting says, Art, need to lay you off. And all of a sudden, the payments on your hot tub or whatever can't be made. So what do? You go and you hate to do it, but you have to cash in that CD of yours early. Take the hit. You come out with the cash to pay your bills.
Not my hot tub, Ed.
Well, yeah. These are hard times, remember?
Yeah. God.
So anyway, when you get a lot of people being laid off and a lot of people having to go back and cash in their CDs,
sure,
then the banks have to find cash to pay those CDs. Even though the banks are making some money, they need to have the cash, the liquid asset.
That's for sure.
Now, responsible banks, as we know, have the majority of their portfolios, or a good deal of portfolios, in what? The most secure investment in the world, U.S. Treasuries.
That's right.
Okay?
Yep.
So now all of a sudden we have a scenario where, now who's the biggest banks in the world, Art?
Well,
they usually end with words like vowels, A and O, Sumitomo,
yep,
etc. The biggest banks in the world are Japanese.
Mitsubishi.
And they're very responsible banks, and they're very heavily invested in U.S. Treasuries.
Yeah, sure they are.
They need cash badly. Get the picture?
Yes, I do.
And they need cash not only badly, but a whole bunch of it, because this is a very big problem. In fact, it's bigger than the world has seen in the last 70 years, probably. That's why I say, watch out. You know, you folks who have saved your money because you listen to SciTech tell you about what's coming, don't throw it away on T-bills. Do something else with it.
Okay, first time caller line, you're on the air with Major Ed Dames. Hi. Hello there.
Hi, Art. Hi, Ed. This is Eric in California.
California. Okay, Eric.
I had a question, Ed, for you. On an earlier program, you said that you didn't know the source of intelligence that was causing the sun to create these disturbances that we're going to be experiencing. Do you have any more information on that?
We think it's purely physical. We think it's a something like an 11,500 year cycle that the sun goes through, and that it is not indeed any intelligence whatsoever.
Oh, okay. That's real interesting.
Natural event, in other words.
Yeah. One other thing is that do you have any information correlating, say, all of these prophecies that are like 300 some odd prophecies around the world of the Blessed Virgin Mary about chastisements that are supposed to be coming in the next 2 years?
As in the third Secret of Fatima, that sort of thing?
That sort of thing, yeah.
Yeah, okay. Sure, Ed?
No, we don't, but we could remote view the third Secret of Fatima.
Really?
Yes, we could do that.
Now there's a project for you, Ed.
Now let me get this straight.
I'm not exactly sure it's the kind of project you want, based on...
I think it would be quite interesting.
Really?
Yes. Now let's see. I'd have to research it because I'm not that familiar with what we have to detail this out and make sure that we articulate what we call the remote viewing cue correctly.
See, you're never going to hang up the Dr. Doom hat. You're never going to do it. The third secret of Fatima...
Well, this is sounds pretty intriguing.
It is intriguing, Ed. It's completely intriguing, but I'm telling you right now, the third secret of Fatima is said to be competitive with Ed Dames' worst moments as Dr. Doom.
Was this the one that was reported to the Pope secretly by one of the 6 girls in Fatima?
Absolutely correct, yes. And held very tightly by popes who will not let it go. It's so horrible, they say. Even Father Malachi Martin, you know Father Martin.
Yes, yeah, in fact, I talked with him on your show once.
Yes, that's right, who in fact has had a light stroke, and we continue to get reports that he's holding his own. That's all I can tell everybody. I'm sorry, I wish I knew more. I don't. They're holding all the information very close to their chest back there.
You want to know something?
Father Martin knows the third secret of Fatima, and he said, I'll tell you what he said, Ed. He said, if you can imagine the worst, it's worse than that. That's what he said.
Now, do you think it's a complex of things or just a single thing? Do you know?
You're the remote viewer, not me. I have no idea what it is.
I mean, is it a whole layout of things, or what were the other 2 secrets? Did they deal with a single event?
No, I believe that this is a cascading of events. And that's, I guess that's the best, closest answer.
Yes, we could actually break it out into its component parts if it was a complex. It sounds pretty intriguing.
I knew you couldn't resist that. I knew it. I
want to tell you something that's very synchronistic, very interesting. I never told this to Father Malachi. Our Vice President, Joni Durf,
yes,
her ex-husband was actually he's a movie actor, he played the Gemini killer in Exorcist 3.
Wow.
Isn't that interesting?
That's extremely interesting, yes. All right, Ed, here we go. A lot of people waiting. Wildcard line, you're on the air with Major Ed Dames. Hi.
Hi.